My child, listen, for I am not speaking to ignite your fear but to awaken your spirit, because disappointment is not born from wrath toward you, but from the weight of how much more you were created to carry. When I say disappointment, it is not the disappointment of a judge who waits to condemn, but of a father who sees the treasure he placed inside you lying untouched. I speak to stir the ground of your heart, for there are things in your life that can no longer remain as they are, and tonight is not about destruction, but transformation. Tonight, what will happen in your house is not the collapse of your walls, but the shaking of everything that has stolen your strength, clouded your vision, and pulled you away from the purpose I formed in your mother's womb. There are conversations you have avoided, tears you have suppressed, rooms in your heart you have refused to open. There are patterns that have repeated themselves for years, cycles that have bound your family, shadows that have followed you from generation to generation, and tonight I am bringing them to the surface, not to torment you, but to free you, not to expose you in shame, but to expose the chains so that they may be broken. You have cried out for breakthrough but feared the process, and tonight the process begins. In the quietness of your home, in the stillness of the night, there will be a stirring in your spirit that you cannot ignore, for I am calling you back to a sensitivity you lost while trying to survive battles I never intended you to fight alone. Do not misinterpret my shaking as my anger. When the potter shakes the vessel, it is to remove what does not belong to the finished design. When the gardener shakes the tree, it is to remove what steals nourishment from the fruit that is meant to grow. And when I shake your home, I am removing everything that was assigned to drain your strength, your clarity, and your peace. Tonight, conversations you buried will rise in your thoughts. Memories will resurface not to torment but to heal. And I will show you the root of certain pain, because the time has come for you to confront what you have tolerated for too long. There are things you labeled normal that were never meant to be normal for a child of the Most High. You adapted to storms you were meant to silence. You adjusted to chaos you were meant to command. You learned to live with burdens you were meant to cast upon me. Tonight, I bring these things before you, not to overwhelm, but to liberate. For I do not correct my children to destroy them, but to restore them. I do not allow the shaking to break you, but to break what has tried to break you. Tonight, I will deal with the unseen. The conversations in the spirit realm that took place without your awareness, the agreements you made in weakness, the lies you believed when your heart was wounded. I am confronting them. I am breaking them. I am overturning them. I am reaching into the depths of your being where the enemy thought he had planted fear, insecurity, doubt, confusion, and disappointment, and I am uprooting every seed that did not come from me. You have cried for clarity, and I am giving it. You have cried for direction, and I am releasing it. You have cried for peace, and I am restoring it. My disappointment is not in you. It is in what you allowed to overshadow you. You believed you were weak when I called you strong. You believed you were forgotten when I was standing at your door knocking. You believed your story was over when I was preparing a chapter your eyes have not yet seen. You allowed the world to define you when I had already spoken your identity long before the foundations of the earth. And tonight I am removing every false identity, every false belief, every false voice that has spoken louder than my truth. There will be a shift in your house tonight, but it will not be the arrival of disaster. It will be the departure of everything that has hindered your calling. Expect a heaviness to lift, a restlessness to break, a clarity to rise. Expect a conviction to stir inside you, not the condemnation of the accuser, but the conviction of the Spirit who calls you higher. Expect your atmosphere to change, not by force of fear, but by the presence of my hand moving through every corner of your soul. You have asked me to step into your home, but tonight I step into your heart, because the battle you thought was around you has been within you. I will show you the conversations that must end, the habits that must die, the friendships that drain your spirit, the thoughts that sabotage your progress, the attitudes that keep you bound. You will feel my voice press upon your conscience, not to shame you, but to awaken you. I will illuminate the places where compromise entered unnoticed, the distractions that quietly disconnected you from my presence, and the subtle lies that made you think I was far away when I was closer than your next breath. Tonight, revelation will begin to unfold. You will sense things differently. You will see things more clearly. You will discern what you once ignored. For the scales that covered your spiritual eyes are falling, and the numbness that weakened your spirit is breaking. This is not the enemy entering your home. This is deliverance entering your home. This is not danger approaching. This is destiny approaching. This is not chaos rising. This is my order being established. I will speak to you in ways you cannot deny, through a stirring in your heart, a conviction in your mind, a sudden awareness of something you once dismissed. And when you feel that pull, do not run from it. That is my hand touching the places you kept hidden. That is my presence healing the wounds you never dared to show. That is my spirit calling you into alignment. The disappointment you perceive is not rejection. It is a divine urgency. It is the echo of heaven saying, "Rise." It is the voice of the Father saying, "Come up higher." It is the call of destiny saying, "There is more for you than the life you settled for." And tonight, that call will echo through your conscience until you respond. Nothing destructive is coming to your house. What is coming is a spiritual awakening, a cleansing, a reordering. I am sweeping away the dust of old seasons. I am tearing down the cobwebs of forgotten dreams. I am opening the windows of your soul so that the breath of my spirit may move freely once again. I am placing fire where there was once fatigue, clarity where there was once confusion, purpose where there was once paralysis. My child, the reason I speak with such intensity is because you have reached a moment in your journey where silence would do more harm than truth. I am calling you into a night of awakening, not because I desire to frighten you, but because the energy of complacency around you has grown too strong, and I will not allow my purpose for your life to be swallowed by shadows that pretend to be harmless. What you will encounter tonight is the movement of my spirit, a stirring that will not let you sleep the way you slept in previous seasons, because you are entering a threshold where greater clarity is required. I am visiting you, not with destruction, but with divine confrontation. This confrontation is not to intimidate you, it is to elevate you. I confront what hinders you, not who you are. You have mistaken guilt for conviction and fear for discernment, and tonight I will separate the two. You will be able to distinguish my voice from every voice that tried to disguise itself as wisdom. You will recognize the subtle traps that were presented to you as opportunities. You will finally see where you compromised without realizing, where you allowed your heart to settle in places that were never meant to hold you, and where you allowed the noise of this world to suffocate the whispers of my spirit. Tonight I will cleanse the atmosphere of your inner world. You will feel the weight of suppressed emotions rising to the surface. You will feel memories you buried begin to knock on the door of your mind. Do not resist these waves, for they are not coming to drown you, but to wash over you and remove the residue of past seasons. There are old wounds that still bleed even when you pretend they have healed. There are disappointments you never surrendered. There are prayers you stopped praying because you assumed I said no, when in truth, I was preparing you for a yes that required maturity. My disappointment is not in your humanity. I crafted you with the full understanding of your weaknesses. My disappointment rests in the fact that you have believed lies about yourself that contradict what I spoke over you. You have allowed the words of others to form an identity I never gave you. You have allowed their doubts to become your limitations. You have allowed their fears to shape your decisions. Tonight, I am tearing those false garments from you. You will not enter the next season dressed in labels that never belong to you. You will stand in the identity I authored, not the identity life forced upon you. You will sense a fire inside you tonight, a fire not to destroy but to refine. It will expose tendencies that sabotage you, patterns that drain you, and cycles that return because you never recognized their source. This fire will not harm you. It will purify you. It will remind you of the strength you carry, the authority you lost sight of, the calling you placed on pause, and the dreams you quietly buried because you feared rejection, failure, or disappointment. I am reclaiming what you abandoned. I am restoring what you forgot. I am reawakening what you allowed to sleep. There will be moments tonight where you feel a sudden stillness in the room. Moments where your breath slows, moments where your thoughts become strangely clear. Do not dismiss these moments as random. They are the touch of my presence brushing against your soul. I am aligning your spirit with heaven's rhythm. I am recalibrating your discernment. I am reawakening the sensitivity you once had but thought you lost. You will notice the difference between a thought that comes from fear and a thought that comes from truth. You will recognize the subtle manipulations that once confused you. You will see the traps that used to attract you. As this night unfolds, you will also sense a separation taking place within you. Not a separation from people, but from attachments that weakened your purpose. There are connections you held on to out of habit, out of comfort, out of fear of being alone. But not every familiar presence carries my fingerprint. Not every voice that speaks into your life was sent by me. Not every hand that reached out to you was meant to guide you. Tonight I will show you the difference. I will reveal who strengthens your spirit and who drains it. I will show you who speaks life and who speaks confusion. I will show you who carries truth and who carries influence disguised as advice. Do not be alarmed by the clarity. When I turn on the light, shadows cannot remain. When I speak truth, deception loses its power. When I move in a home, the atmosphere begins to shift, not with fear, but with revelation. You will feel things break off you tonight that you didn't even realize were attached. You will sense freedom rising in areas where you once felt trapped. You will experience the lifting of burdens that you thought were permanent. This is my work, not yours. This is my intervention, not your effort. There are prayers you whispered without understanding their depth. There are things you asked me to remove but still held on to emotionally. Tonight I handle those things. I bring separation between you and everything that keeps you from walking in the fullness of who you are. You asked for growth, but growth cannot come without pruning. You asked for elevation, but elevation cannot come without release. You asked for peace, but peace cannot live where chaos is entertained. And so tonight I cleanse the spaces where you unknowingly invited chaos. Do not fear the stirring that comes. I am moving furniture in your soul. I am rearranging the mindset you have carried for years. I am shifting the priorities that lost their alignment. I am restoring the hunger you used to have for my presence, a hunger that was slowly buried under distractions, busyness, and the pressure to appear strong. You no longer have to pretend. I see behind the mask. I see the tears you don't cry. I see the questions you suppress. I see the exhaustion you hide. And tonight I respond to the parts of you that no one else sees. This night will not end the way it begins. You will not wake up tomorrow carrying the same weight. The heaviness will not follow you into the morning. The confusion will not accompany you into the new day. There is a release taking place, a spiritual exhale, a loosening of chains that were invisible to the natural eye. You will sleep differently because your spirit will rest differently. The anxiety that has stolen your peace will lose its grip. The thoughts that chased you will quiet. The fears that intimidated you will shrink. My child, you must understand that my disappointment is a signal, not a sentence. It is a reminder that you were created for more than the level you've been living at. You lowered your standards to please people I never assigned to your journey. You settled for less because you doubted your worth. You accepted delayed seasons because you were afraid of stepping into unfamiliar ground. But tonight marks a turning point. Not because of a date on the calendar, but because of a decision in your heart. When you surrender what no longer belongs, I release what truly belongs to you. There will be moments tonight where you feel a deep pull inward, as though I am tightening the strings of your heart. That is me calling you deeper. You have lived on the surface for too long. You have addressed symptoms but ignored roots. You have treated wounds but never removed the arrows. You have prayed for relief but feared healing because healing requires honesty. Tonight I bring honesty to your soul. I allow you to see yourself the way I see you, not through the lens of shame or fear, but through the lens of destiny. You will feel my nearness in ways you aren't used to. It will not be loud or dramatic, but steady and undeniable. It will feel like a quiet knowing, a peace that settles despite the questions, a strength that rises despite your weaknesses. This is my voice. This is my presence. This is my visitation. And what I begin tonight will continue. This is the first wave, the first shift, the first breaking, the first unveiling. You have asked me for encounters, and now I give you one. Not the kind that leaves you confused, but the kind that awakens you, reforms you, rebuilds you. Tonight, you will wrestle with truth, not fear. You will wrestle with purpose, not danger. You will wrestle with conviction, not condemnation. And from this wrestling, clarity will be born. I am shaping your steps for the coming season. The distractions that once controlled you will lose their power. The impulses that once dictated your choices will weaken. The lies that once held authority in your mind will lose their voice. My child, lift your spirit, for I am breathing a blessing upon you that no force of darkness can interrupt and no voice of doubt can cancel. I am extending my hand toward you, not with judgment, but with a divine impartation of strength, clarity, and favor that will follow you in the days ahead. You have walked through seasons where you felt unseen, unheard, and untouched by the miracles others testified about. But today I declare that my blessing will rest on you like a mantle that cannot be shaken off. You will feel it in the quiet of your thoughts, in the decisions you make, in the opportunities that open suddenly, and in the peace that settles upon you even when you cannot explain it. I bless your mind, for it has carried battles that no one else knew about. I speak peace into the corners of your thoughts that were filled with uncertainty. Where confusion tried to build a home, I drive it out. Where fear tried to erect walls, I tear them down. You will think with clarity. You will discern with accuracy. You will speak with wisdom. The ideas that once seemed clouded will become clear, and the decisions you once avoided will now come with ease because I am touching your mind with the oil of understanding. I bless your heart, for it has endured storms that should have broken you. I heal the parts of you that still echo with disappointment. I mend the places where betrayal left scars. I wash away the heaviness that tried to harden your compassion. I restore the tenderness you lost, not to make you vulnerable to pain, but to make you receptive to love, joy, and purpose again. Your heart will beat in rhythm with hope, not sorrow. You will feel a new boldness rising within you, a fearless courage to love, to trust, to hope, and to dream again. I bless your steps, for every path you take from this moment forward will be guided by my hand. You will not walk in circles like the seasons before. You will not repeat old mistakes. You will not return to traps that once held you captive. The path before you is being cleared. Obstacles that were once immovable are shifting. Delays that frustrated you are dissolving. Doors that were sealed are unlocking, not because of who you know, but because of who walks with you. I go before you to prepare the way, and I stand behind you to guard what I have entrusted to you. I bless your home, that peace may dwell within its walls. Let every room be filled with the fragrance of my presence. Let unrest flee. Let chaos scatter. Let arguments dissolve. Let joy remain. I cover your home with a shield that no darkness can invade. Your nights will be restful, your mornings strengthened, your days filled with grace. The atmosphere of your home will shift, becoming a place of comfort, strength, and spiritual awakening. Even those who step into your home will feel the peace I release upon you. I bless your hands, for what you touch will prosper in its season. The work you do, the dreams you build, the efforts you pour out will not be wasted. You will see results where you once saw frustration. You will see progress where you once faced stagnation. Your hands are blessed to create, to build, to restore, and to gather. No more cycles of effort without reward. No more pouring into places that drain you. What I place in your hands will flourish because my favor rests upon them. I bless your relationships, removing what drains you and strengthening what is meant for you. No more connections that pull you backward. No more voices that distort your identity. I surround you with people who uplift your spirit, protect your purpose, and speak truth into your life. You will recognize alliances that are divine and step away from those that are temporary assignments that have expired. Peace will fill your conversations and wisdom will guide your connections. I bless your future, for it will not mirror the pain of your past. I remove the shadows that tried to follow you. I silence the echoes of failures you have outgrown. Your future is brighter than the season behind you, not because everything will be perfect, but because you will walk in a maturity, strength, and authority that you did not possess before. You will rise in confidence. You will speak with boldness. You will move with assurance, knowing that I am with you in every step you take. My child, receive this blessing not as words in the air, but as a divine shift in the atmosphere around your life. This blessing marks the beginning of a new season, a new clarity, a new strength, a new favor. Everything that rises against you will fall. Everything meant for you will come. Everything you lost will be restored in a better form. You are blessed, covered, strengthened, and lifted, and this blessing will follow you all the days of your life.